Hello again everyone, and welcome to today's video, the grabbing guide. So first of all, we're going to look at the basics of grabbing. So we're going to go really in depth and look at every single facet that the grabbing mechanic has. Next, we're going to go on to the offensive and defensive uses of grabbing. So how do you best use a grab? We'll look at different techniques on different types of levels and how you can use that to your advantage. But also, I'll briefly go over how to defend against such techniques as well. And then at the end of the video, we'll show some games where you can see them in play. So before we get started, it's worth talking about the latency grabs. So you may be grabbed from players that are seemingly too far away to grab you. This is caused by latency. On their screen, they're right next to you and therefore grabbable. There's not a whole lot you can do about this latency. You could try and avoid straight lines if someone's running right behind you, so you're harder to grab, and also consider that you'll get a feeling for how far they can grab you, and it's just an unfortunate thing you've got to deal with. So we're going to start with the basics first. Now this is going to be really simple to start with, and it's going to get more and more complicated, but hopefully there's things in here that you weren't aware of. Let's find out. So to grab another player, on PC you press the Shift button, and on the PlayStation you press the R2 button. A successful grab will result in a grab reticle to appear on the opponent, which looks like this. Now you can grab an opponent for a maximum of 1 second. If you hold onto the grab for the entire 1 second, you will then perform a push. A push will knock you back slightly, and it will knock the opponent back about double. So after being grabbed and pushed, you cannot be grabbed again for about another second. So you have a sort of re-grab invincibility. This counts for anyone trying to grab the person that was just pushed, not just the initial grabber. So if I grab someone and push him, then someone else tries to grab him, they have to wait for the re-grab invincibility of about a second to wear off. Now I believe this is implemented so that you can't grief the person and just continually hold them forever. So the next big thing that you really probably not aware of is that the push effect is additive. This means that if two players grab and push a single player in the same direction and at the same time, the push effect will combine both push values into a single stronger push force. What this essentially means that if both players grab someone at the same time and push them, they get pushed back further, a lot further. Have a look at this clip and you'll see what I mean. So this would allow team players to organize over voice chat where and when to double push people. Okay, so they both organize that they're going to grab people at the same time and push them over a ledge. You can see in the clip below they did it in perfect match where a lot of people are standing around, so you've got enough time to organize it. But it's a really powerful tool, and this type of push would not be possible as a single player doing a grab and push. So next up it's the slime ground, and this will increase your momentum for both players caused by a push. So whereas the grabber might go back slightly, if they're on slime they'll go back a bit more, and if you got pushed then you'll go back a lot further if you're on slime. You see this used in slime climb all the time. Towards the end people are just pushing people off because it's a lot easier on slime. The best counter to this would be to do a jump dive as you're getting pushed away. Like after they've let go and your momentum started and you're getting pushed, do a jump dive to cancel that sort of momentum. So next up, if both players grab each other, then you'll lock arms and the 1 second push timer is cancelled. You can remain in this state where you're both grabbing each other, this loving embrace, until one or both players stop grabbing, one of you is knocked over, or someone falls down. So when grabbing each other, releasing your grab will then begin the 1 second push timer for the opponent. Re-grabbing them again will stop the timer and cancel it again. You can keep starting and restarting the timer like this if you want to. So when you are grabbing each other, your movement becomes limited, okay? If a player is walking forward and the other player is not moving, then you will be able to push them backwards. However, if both players are walking forwards, then your forward and backwards movement won't happen. There may be some exceptions where, like maybe if you're on a slope you'll start to push them backwards down the slope, but most of the time if both people are grabbing each other and walking towards each other, you won't get any actual movement forwards and backwards. So a tip regarding this is to use the movement limiter to your advantage. When you're grabbing someone, your movement is slower and you're harder to push around. So you want to use a grab, but not the entire 1 second push because of the knockback it gives, to stabilize yourself in games like Tiptoe and Perfect Match where everyone's trying to push you off and huddle together and push you off tiles. If you grab somebody, you'll be harder to push off the tile, so you really should be grabbing someone, letting go, grabbing someone, letting go, to try and keep stable on that tile. So although forwards and backwards movement is not really going to happen when you're locking arms, sideways movement, however, is slow but is possible as well. So you want to consider this when you're grabbing other people, the angle at which you grab them. So for example, we've got some slime here, and red bean and blue bean are locking arms. Forwards, backwards movement, not very possible, but side to side could happen, but you'll just end up in places like this. But if you grab them like this, you could maybe walk them to the right and actually get them into the slime and dunk them in there. The way you defend against this for red bean would be to let go of your grab, so they get the push animation after 1 second, and hopefully the push animation won't get you into the slime itself. So the next thing is grabbing the back or the side of an opponent prevents them from grabbing you back. This guarantees that you will get the push effect if you hold onto the grab. They can't turn, they can't grab you, so you will get that effect. It also stops them from walking against you. So, like I said before, if both players are walking towards each other, you don't get any movement. If you grab them from the side or the back, they can't walk against you, allowing you to gain more push ground forward while you're holding them. It's really, really important. So this leads me on to the second tip, which is to use this to push people off ledges without retaliation. Okay, because they can't push you back and because they can't grab you, you're going to get the push animation, and it allows you, if you can get them from behind, to push them off ledges without them being able to retaliate until actually the push is over. So we did look at the maximum grab time, which is a second, which causes a push animation. There is a minimum grab time as well. So if you grab somebody, you just tap it really quickly. There is a minimum grab time of 1/3 of a second before you let go. After letting go, it will take you 2/3 of a second before you can re-grab anything else. So it comes back to a nice 1 second in the end. But it's really important to understand that you've got a minimum grab time of 1/3 of a second just from the shortest tap. So that leads me on to the third tip and trick, the grab, release and jump strategy. So we will go over this strategy later on, but I just wanted to make the connection between the minimum grab time. So grabbing, releasing and then jumping in quick succession is a very powerful tactic. You want to time your jump on release of the pop sound. Use this technique on games like Jump Showdown. So you want to grab them as the bar is coming towards you, release, they get hit by the bar and you jump over it. Okay, so grab, release and jump. Now the connection is that because you grab for a minimum of 1/3 of a second, it's really helpful to know that and to time it. Okay, grab, release and jump. You just want to tap it, you get a quick grab, the minimum grab time you can, 1/3 of a second. It will cause them not to jump, then you release and jump. Okay, a really, really important tactic, and we will cover it later. So to continue on, you cannot grab a player who has actually fallen over. If they're rolling around on the floor, for whatever reason, maybe they fell over on a ledge or they got hit by a hammer or something, they are in fact ungrabbable. This is an interesting tactic to prevent your tail from being stolen within the last second of a tail tag match. If you get flung across the map with 1 second left to go, rolling around on the floor means you can't actually get your tail stolen back. Okay, so now we're looking at the offensive and defensive uses of grabbing. So we're going to be looking at the best ways to use grabbing, the offensive techniques in general, but we are going to zoom in closely and look at their applications on a variety of different levels. So how best to use these techniques on each level, and I'll make sure to go over anything that's important level specific. But I also want to go over the defense as well, how to protect against the same techniques on the levels. Now the defense is obviously a bit lacking because sometimes you can't do much about it, but any advice I can give you I will, for every different level I can. So the first offensive grab strategy is predicting a jump. The most common grab strategy you see is to grab an opponent who is about to jump, causing them to fail their jump so they don't jump at all, or that they do jump but then get pulled back down with a latency. Okay, this is really effective, and all it requires is a little tap of the grab button as an opponent is about to jump, and it will be sufficient. So this can be used in a variety of games. This is one of the most common strategies. Here are the games it's best suited for. Full Mountain and Jump Showdown, if you use it in this, it is a game-winning strategy. This will actually help you win the game. If you grab someone as they're trying to jump for the crown and pull them back down so you can jump for the crown, you will win the game, like so. Right, it's going up. Next up, we've got games like Rollout and Jump Club. These are elimination strategies here. You won't win the game, but you might eliminate a player. If you grab them as they're about to run and jump over a ledge in Rollout, they may fall down that ledge. And then we've got levels like Dizzy Heights, Whirligig, and Hoopsie Daisy, where it probably won't make much of an impact because the levels are quite easy, but it is still possible to get a nice punish from that. So to defend against this type of technique, to reduce it, you want to obviously try and avoid crowds because you can't stop someone grabbing you in a crowd. Easier said than done though. Also, don't run towards an edge to make a predictable jump. This is really important in games like Rollout. People tend to run forward and just jump over a gap to get to a walled section. If you see someone just running towards an edge like that, you could just grab them and they could fall down the edge. You want to also avoid straight lines while there's an enemy running behind you. So if you're running in a straight line, they might just decide to grab you if it's really obvious what you're going to do. So you may want to veer to the right or veer to the left to try and get them out from behind you so it's harder to grab. So the next strategy is the grab, release and jump strategy. This is the game winning strategy that we spoke about earlier. It's a very quick grab, release and jump. You should be doing the shortest tap of the grab button possible. You don't want to grab them for any longer than that. Just tap the grab and then jump when you hear the pop. So you want to use it to gain an advantage or eliminate players completely. So in Hexagon, when you've got two players that are fighting over particular tiles, just running over all the tiles is probably going to make it bad for both of you. So if you can, approach an opponent from a side and grab, release and jump to a new tile quickly to make them fall. You don't want to linger though. If your grab didn't work instantly, get off because otherwise you'll fall down too. It's a very hard strategy, but it is a game winning strategy. So in Jump Showdown, getting this done to you is usually a game losing scenario. Someone grabs you, you get hit by the baton and then you lose. To avoid this, what we'll want to do is stay on the left hand side of other players. Now I generally only consider doing this when it's about one-on-one left, where he might decide that it's a game winning strategy to grab you. So if you look at this particular image, here is the platform and the baton is coming from the right. If we're on the right hand side, the enemy might think, I'll grab him, release and jump over the baton, he'll get swept underneath me, right? So the way you counter this is by sweeping over to the left so that he can't grab you without getting hit by the baton first. He may go for a suicide attempt where he grabs you and let RNG take the wheel on who lands into the slime first, but generally being on the left hand side means he can't grab you, release and jump. Obviously, if you want to do the technique, you want to be on the left hand side, grab, release and jump over the baton yourself. So in Block Party, to defend against this technique, I like to run to the outside of the particular platform and then run back in to jump over the bars, then run back out. Because a player that's standing still ready to jump over the bars is a higher grab target. People just look at you and think, he's got it easy, I'm going to go and grab him. So a runner is much harder to grab, so I like to run out, run back in, jump, run back out, run back in, jump. And I think that just helps a little bit on not being grabbed. So the next strategy is the jump dive grab. I mentioned this in all three of my tail tag video strategy guides, but you can actually grab tails while you're diving. The way you do this is by jumping, diving, and then holding down the grab button until you land, okay? That'll be Shift for PC players and R2 for PlayStation players. So you can grab tails while you're diving. Now you do have to consider that you will have to get up from the dive because you land on your belly, so that may take a bit of time and you may get the tail stolen from you again, but you can, it's really useful I think on the solo tail tag where you're jumping around the edges of the platform. You can just jump, dive, grab and hope to grab somebody's tail from that. So the next strategy is stalling. This is where you grab and hold onto an opponent in team games to prevent them from getting to some sort of objective. This allows your own teammates to do their job unimpeded. So we can see it's a viable tactic in Rock and Roll. In Rock and Roll, run down first and grab people from, prevent them from getting in front of your ball to stop it. A game-winning strategy in that case. Hoarders, if several people are running for a ball, grab one of the opponents and let your teammate hit it. Same for Fall Ball. You see it a lot more in Fall Ball. If two of your team are going for a ball and one of the opponents is, grab the opponent and let your teammate do it unimpeded. For Jinx, you can grab onto other opponents so your jinxed teammates can come up and grab them themselves. For Egg Scramble, this is most common for things like the golden egg. If many people are going for the golden egg, you might grab an opponent and let your teammate try and get it unimpeded. And for Hoopsie Daisy, same sort of thing. Grab an opponent so your teammate can jump through the hoop themselves. So the next strategy is the push eliminations. This is where you grab and push opponents over ledges. You want to use tips from the basics to help you, such as grabbing them from behind or positioning in case they grab you back and you can move sideways to push them over a ledge. So we see this very commonly in Slime Climb, a bit in Rollout, sometimes Tiptoes, and sometimes Perfect Match. So in Slime Climb, you'll see it all the time. Towards the end of the level, you can stand on the normal ground near the goal, and then grab and push people that are on the slime, angle them towards the ledges, and then push them off. And because they're on the slime, they get a farther pushback, and you aren't on the slime, so you don't get a farther pushback. You can also do it while you're both on the slime to get a nice push. You can also grab and hold them in front of particular obstacles like pushers or pendulums or anything like that. So there's loads of different ways you can use this technique in Slime Climb. To defend against this, you should be jump diving over players that are waiting for you. So it's really hard to grab you if you jump diving. If they do grab you, you're probably not in the right position for them to get a good push elimination on you anymore. So jump diving over them is the best way to counter this. So in Rollout, you want to grab players and go against the rotating belt's direction and let the rotating belt aid you in getting the ledge nearer to them. So grab them, hold them in place, and let the rotating belt get the ledge near them and then let go. So it's really, really useful. So in Tiptoe, when huddling on a tile with a big mob, you can use the grab push to grab onto a player and push them back. Now the small push is all you need to check if another tile is real or fake. To defend against this, you want to periodically just grab other players to stabilize yourself. You can also grab the person that is grabbing you, and that will cancel the grab push timer. So that is it for the grabbing guide. A lot of information there that hopefully you can make use of. Please don't grab me. In the meantime though, I'm going to stick some games on the end where I utilize grabbing in a really good way that is really effective, and I'll maybe montage a few clips together as well, we'll see. But please let me know what you thought of this guide. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you again very soon. Goodbye. Let's jump forward here. Okay, and then go right. Okay, is that gonna hit nice and hard? No, it's not. This is gonna bounce off, but I think we got past it. These are fine. Careful of that. Be careful of that. Okay. And then hide behind this one. Bosh. Hide behind this one. Are you gonna grab me? I know you are. I know you're gonna grab me. Right, it's going up. Got it. All's fair, man. All's fair. Okay. Oh, I won a Hex Final. Hex Finals are the best. So we've got loads of tiles here. Loads. And we want to try and use them all if possible. You've got to be clean. Respect the environment, everybody. Respect the environment. Well, we got loads up here. So we're just going to use them all if possible. Respect your environment, guys. You still got plenty of meat on that bone. You best keep eating, as someone on YouTube said. Alright, let's just check where we want to be. The blue is there. There's not a whole lot, so that's where we're going to finish. We're going to finish here. And then where is the purple? There is no purple. Holy smeg. The yellow here. Right, so we want to kill this guy, I think. Perfect. Perfect. We knocked him down. Everything's good. Let's go over here. Momentum jumps are really important. Okay. Momentum. Slow it down. It's really hard to slow it down if you're trying to think though, so you have to say to yourself, slow it down. Have I got so much blue that it's actually insane? I do. Oh my god, I have actually so much blue. It is literally insane. Don't fall through! So the purple is there, so we actually want to end on that purple. So we're going to go to the end here first. Actually, it doesn't really matter. There's so much. So much. Wow. Best grab of the century. Exactly. I really think it's important to grab. I mean, I didn't put it in my guide, and I hope people don't do it. I really hope people don't start doing it, but you don't want to run with people. You know, running together just means you're both going to lose, so grabbing them is dangerous, it's hard, but it's really useful.